How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to 14P Fantasy. Obviously, if you watch us regularly, this is not my room. This is not where I record. It is 11 p.m. I am tired, but I am doing this to bring you guys winners and losers from day 2 of the NFL draft. So bear with the bad lighting and maybe weird audio. I have no idea how this is going to come out, but this is what we're doing. So before we get into it, guys, again, I am Justin. I am your host. Check out the Patreon page. The link is in the bio. For $5 a month, you will get all of our Dynasty rankings, our updated rookie rankings coming out this week, our updated redraft rankings when those are available, a draft kit, a whole bunch of other stuff for $5. If you go to the $9 tier, you will get a personalized Dynasty breakdown video of one of your teams from myself and Marco, about 15, 20 minutes long, breaking down trades, moves, how to position yourself moving forward. But yeah, let's get into it because I'm tired, but we got a lot to talk about. Number 1 on the list, Justin Fields. So you guys know I'm a Bears fan. You know me and Marco are both Bears fans. Justin Fields comes away from this undeniably a loser from day 2 of the NFL draft. You know, after not doing much in free agency, the whole talk about the Bears was we're going to attack receiver, offensive line in the draft. First 2 second rounders, that's the plan. That did not happen. We bring in 2 defenders. You know, is that probably good long-term for the Bears still? I hope so. I don't know. But we do get a wide receiver in the 3rd in Velus Jones. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it, and I don't care. The dude is about to be 25 years old. He is a special teamer. We still don't have a wide receiver too. Justin Fields does not have upgraded protection, and he doesn't have upgraded weapons. He has Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, and nobody else. Byron Pringle, if he's even out of jail at this point, I don't know what's happening. But Justin Fields did not get any upgrades. It is going to be very tough sledding for him in year 2, and again, as a Bears fan, I'm not looking forward to it. But this is where we're at. Anything past day 3, kind of irrelevant for fantasy purposes. Maybe the Bears overload on offensive line. Who knows? But right now it's ugly. This was not a great day if you were hoping for good things for Justin Fields. Number 2 here, we have Malik Willis. And, you know, I was making these overlays about, you know, pick 90 or so, you know, 85, right in that range. And Malik Willis was going to be a loser because he wasn't going to get drafted. I didn't know if he would. He lands with Tennessee, but he still comes out a loser in this video as well because he fell to the 3rd round. You know, if you watched round 1 video already, he was a loser because he didn't get picked on day 1. Falling to the end of the 3rd is not good for his fantasy outcome, or, you know, his fantasy prospects, let's say. At this point, I'm probably not drafting him in the 1st round of rookie drafts. Clearly, NFL teams do not believe in him. He has a very clear uphill battle. He wasn't the QB2 that was even selected. So it's just, it doesn't bode well for his NFL draft prospects. Could he develop? Absolutely. You know, am I going to sit here and say Malik Willis is a bust? No, I'm not going to say that. But he's probably not going to be on a lot of my fantasy teams if I have 1st rounders. I'm just not going to take that risk. There's so much good at running back and wide receiver that it's really difficult to sell yourself on Malik Willis here. Number three. Michael Carter. It was fun. Again, coming in as a loser, and I'm just now realizing we got so many losers just at running back and wide receiver. You know, obviously Breece Hall lands with the Jets here. You know, he is a winner, but I think it's more important to talk about Michael Carter here. Breece Hall cements himself as the 101. That's all I care about. Michael Carter is in a bad spot. I don't care how you cut it. He was fine last year. Breece Hall is, I'm not going to say generational because they say it every year, but Breece Hall is a really, really good NFL prospect and a good NFL running back. Think Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines. I'm not saying Breece Hall is Jonathan Taylor, But that's how I expect this workload to go. Maybe it doesn't happen in year one, right? Maybe Michael Carter retains a lot of that passing work because he knows the system. He's a good pass blocker, whatever. Breece Hall is going to take this over. The window to sell Michael Carter is shut. If you bought him ahead of time, that is tough. It's a dangerous game buying running backs before the NFL draft because this happens. And you get him at a discount typically, but Michael Carter, it was fun knowing you. We will see you later. Next on our list, and again, another loser here. We'll close out with a bunch of winners, but Isaiah Spiller has not been drafted. Marco, that poor idiot, my co-host Marco, if you're new here, had Isaiah Spiller as his RB1 early, dropped him back to his RB2. Isaiah Spiller is tumbling down draft boards. He's no longer a first rounder. He's barely a second rounder, probably. So many other guys have gone ahead of him. I think the NFL has told us what they think of Isaiah Spiller. Maybe he lands in the perfect landing spot. That doesn't guarantee long-term value. We just saw that with Michael Carter. He landed in the perfect landing spot last year. And now he's borderline irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. So it's really tough to care. Isaiah Spiller, gone before we even got to know you, man. It's tough. And we have one more. We have one more here. One more loser. It is Devin Singletary. Again, another running back who is just didn't survive. The Bills bring in James Cook, the third running back drafted. A lot of people, again, thought Isaiah Spiller. Cook was a 4 or 5 kind of guy for most people. Lands with Buffalo, really the crown jewel of landing spots in the team this offseason. Devin Singletary will still have a role on this team because Zach Moss is terrible. But James Cook now looks to be the future based on just, draft capital and what they're telling us with their actions. Again, you were never selling Devin Singletary for anything. I don't think really too many people bought in. But this now pushes James Cook up. He's a winner here, spin it positive. James Cook is a winner. He's probably a high second-round pick maybe, depending on your settings and type of league. But Devin Singletary takes a monster hit because he has immediate competition and really pass-catching competition. And I think that's where James Cook ends up bringing in, his biggest value, because we saw them go after J.D. McKissick, so they're clearly looking to fill that role. And I think James Cook fills that, and then some, and eventually takes even some of the between the 20 and the goal line work. So, again, Devin Singletary down, James Cook way up. Next on the list, we get to some positive. It is Christian Watson. The Packers traded up to get him, which is huge. Just that's called getting your guy, and I always put a little bit of extra stock in that. Christian Watson steps in as potentially the wide receiver 1 here. Maybe if you believe in Allen Lazard, that's fine. Maybe you believe in Sammy Watkins. You shouldn't. Christian Watson is going to skyrocket up rookie drafts. The landing spot could not be better. I don't think Christian Watson is going to be worth the 107 or should be worth the 107. But if you want him, that's where you're going to have to take him. He's raw. I don't know that he fully turns into this alpha monster wide receiver people are expecting. He's a freak athlete. We get it. There's a lot of tools missing. And that's just the way to put it. However, again, the landing spot could not be any better. And that alone could catapult him the next couple of seasons into extreme fantasy relevance. So he's a huge risk reward type pick, but you're probably going to have to make it around 107, 108 in most leagues. Next on the list, we have another guy falling into a picture-perfect landing spot. It is Skye Moore. He'll also be in that 107 to 110 range. He falls with Kansas City. He doesn't step in immediately to that wide receiver 1 role because Juju's there. Obviously, Travis Kelce's really the wide receiver 1, in my mind at least. But he has a huge opportunity. Again, if you're not familiar with Skye Moore, a little bit undersized. He's 5'9" and 5'8". We round up in this house, but he's going to live in the slot. Maybe him and Juju kind of fight for the slot role even with Travis Kelce. Maybe Skye Moore gets bumped outside. And if he does, that's better. That is significantly better for his fantasy prospects. So again, if you're looking at Skye Moore, another monster risk reward. I don't think he's like a Mecole Hardman. I don't think he's that type of bust, I should say. But there's still risk here. Clearly The NFL was not as high on Skye Moore as a lot of other people were, myself included. So there is risk. But again, he steps into a perfect situation. He has long-term potential, but I would not rule out them adding a high-end wide receiver next year. So again, if you're taking him expecting, he is the future, I don't know if you get that even in 2023. But again, right now, things are looking up for Skye Moore. A terrible pun, but it is what it is. Last one here, and this one, we debated a lot of you guys in the comments on a buy-sell video a few weeks back. Gabe Davis is a monumental winner. Again, we have been fading him all offseason with the expectation the Bills are going to add a wide receiver. Why wouldn't they? They have all the draft capital. They need a true wide receiver too. Apparently that is Gabe Davis, or at least they believe it is right now. Maybe they trade for somebody in the offseason or bring in a Jarvis Landry, but still, Gabe Davis is the clear-cut number 2 right now. And I didn't expect him to survive day 1. I sure as hell didn't expect him to survive day 2, round 2, and 3, and he did. So flat out, we were wrong at this point. Gabe Davis, the breakout is potentially coming, but this is what you wanted if you held on to him, if you bought him. This is best case scenario for Gabe Davis. And to just close it out, there's a bunch of other names that obviously got taken here. Honorable mentions, let's kind of run through them. Rachaad White. It's a good landing spot. He got the draft capital. We had people in our comments say he was RB10 on their list. No. Rachaad White is in contention to be the RB4 or 5 in this class and still is. With the draft capital, he got what we needed to see. Jalen Tolbert landing with Dallas. That is fantastic. Again, he was on our wide receiver sleeper videos saying if he got day 2 draft capital, he becomes extremely enticing. Him landing with Dallas, clearly looking for a second or third wide receiver there with, some unknown about Michael Gallup and his injury. Jalen Tolbert steps into a big opportunity. So he's a guy, beginning of your second round. That's when you start looking at Jalen Tolbert. Brian Robinson comes in as a 3rd round pick to Washington. I don't know what to think of that, to be perfectly honest. Antonio Gibson is still very good. I think he is still the running back there, but this kind of perks up your ears a little bit saying, okay, what the hell's going on? There's not really a winner or a loser there. It's just something that happened. Tyrion David Price went as a 3rd round pick to the 49ers. Shanahan doing Shanahan bullshit. And Tyrion David Price was not on my radar in any world. If you look at DLF even, in the pinnacle of Dynasty for a lot of people, if you look at DLF, he was not in their top 25 running backs. I'm not too worried about Elijah Mitchell. I think this says more about Trey Sermon and them wanting to get a backup maybe. It's weird. I know we need to care about draft capital. I don't too much. And I think it's weird. It's interesting to say. I'm very much a draft capital believer, but it is what it is. Sam Howell's still on the board, so he's a freaking loser at this point. Matt Corral, Desmond Ridder both get drafted. They potentially have long-term opportunity. Guys worth taking a shot on later, obviously, in your rookie drafts. They call them winners for getting drafted, I guess. It's just that quarterback class is terrible. There's no other way to put it. All right, guys. Again, I know it's a weird setup. It's a weird situation, but thank you for sticking with us. Subscribe to the channel, like it, comment all the crap if you got questions. I'm tired. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you next time.
How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.